Good morning. We are here at the Hobby Center today to talk to Jason of Jason's Model Shop. Jason's Model Shop. I became aware of Jason. He was kind enough to post that he had come into the store to pick up something for one of his projects, and he gave a link to my store, which I really appreciate, by the way. So when you do things like that, you get on my radar. Obviously, I get somebody mentioned you, and I always go and follow it to see what's going on. So I did a little deep dive into his social media stuff, and I find out he's a very accomplished science fiction modeler. And he's got really great models. He had some spectacular. Yeah, I think you're into photography too. You must be.
Mostly with my iPhone.
Well, mostly your iPhone. Well, the shots are spectacular, I have to say. He's got lights in these things. He does them in the dark. I mean, it's just amazing, and that really caught on to me. So I've gotten to know Jason a little bit, and I reached out to him and said, "Hey, could you guest on one of our Sunday morning sessions?" So here he is. Welcome.
Thank you, Bill. Let's get that. Thanks for having me here. It's been I've actually been coming to your store since you were on off Hunt Club and Bank Street. That's going back a ways. But I mean, it's also good. I mean, that's a lot of years. So congratulations. So let's credit where credit's due, right? Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. It's part of the reason is because you tend to do you buy from estate sales? Is that how you're able to get this variation of new releases and old things that
Absolutely.
when I say old things, but you know what I mean, like yeah, it was a shuttle Tidarium, and I came in and it was right there. I'm like, I'm gonna grab that, and I would say, because I go to a number of shops whenever I'm around, I can't get that anywhere else. I can't just walk in and see old stock. So that's pretty awesome.
Become one of our strengths is that
Yeah.
sort of. Yeah, we're known for it.
Yeah. Also, I like that you guys post the new deliveries, like we just got this or whatnot. So, I mean, now that I'm not in the city anymore, and I would imagine others that, it's like, oh, hey, you got that? Now I can come and make a special trip and see if I can grab that. But yeah.
Well, yeah, not that nobody.
I'm back in Smiths Falls now.
Smith Falls, okay.
Smiths Falls now.
I like to get here this morning.
Yeah. Well, not too bad. I mean, I work in the city anyway, so it's, kind of. I mean, I used to drive here for college way back in the day.
When he first got my attention, he was in an apartment there just off
oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay, just off of the river there, where he had some spectacular views out of his apartment and stuff, and some of these models were photoed against those views and stuff, and it was really eye-catching stuff. If you go into his social media and go back a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about, and it really catches the eye and gets you inspired to maybe try this stuff.
It was a good space to work in, be able to see the river and the green and whatnot. I mean, except wintertime when everything turns brown and gray.
So how long have you been doing this?
How long have I been doing this? So, I would say as far back as probably 89, 90. Excuse me, sorry. I wasn't, like, for example, it started with Star Trek, and I wasn't a Star Trek fan till maybe like 10 years old or whatnot. And I'm like, oh, I like that Enterprise on the screen, but I want to be able to get my hands on it. So, at the time you could still get the 537 scale AMT one was readily available, so I bought a bunch of those and built them badly. There's a lot of badly built models in the background, but that's what gets you to this though. But yeah, so that's been what are we talking? Let's say 1990, 2000, 2010. Yeah, 35 years.
Almost as long as I've been in business. There you go. So sci-fi is your jam. You were drawn to, you got an interest in Star Trek, and then you started modeling Star Trek. I see you got Battlestar Galactica. Of course, we got Star Wars going over here. So sci-fi in general is your jam?
Yeah, that was definitely my preference. And you said you literally described it as started Star Trek. I wasn't really into Star Wars until later in life, and by then, by that point it was AMT. They'd gone out of business. So by the time I was into Star Wars, there really wasn't anything available. But I got into other things. Obviously Galactica with the Mobius models, and I'm kind of expanding now. We got this with the new Star Wars line, especially the Bandai stuff.
Bandai's gorgeous.
Yeah, Bandai stuff. So it goes together so well, so easily. So I kind of got a more broad coverage in sci-fi, and going to be expanding into more Star Wars.
There's a lot of variety and a lot of kits, and they seem to be a little more up on getting things out current. You know, when there's a new thing, they're on top of it, whereas AMT might take years before they pump something out.
Yeah, and that's something we had touched on before, is the fast turnaround time of Bandai, for example, or I think this is Zvezda. They did a Star Destroyer. I think it might be a Russian company.
I'm sure they are Russian.
Okay, their turnaround time to get something out versus, I hate to say it, a North American company being much slower on their turnaround times, and that's a drawback for people who want current, up-to-date content.
And there's the licensing thing. I don't know if you're aware of it or not. You probably are, but there's a really cool Mandalorian kit of Mando and Grogu, and they're in that Naboo starfighter. Not licensed for North America.
Yeah.
You have to have friends over there. Or you have to mail order it from them because we aren't seeing it here, and we may or we may not going forward.
Well, the licensing is a real pain in the butt, because, as I said, there's something wonderful out there, but if you live in Canada, not too bad. Or I guess in the case of that, that's Revell Germany, so it's also U.S. You're not supposed to be able to get it, but
because the specific Disney license is probably for Europe or a specific geographical region, of which we aren't part of. So
yeah, so that's a bit of a bummer. Like, luckily with the internet, and I know that some people are importers, and I believe you have access to certain things as well. So there are ways around that. It would be nice if you didn't have to go through all that.
I see, like, when I talk to new modelers or people getting into it, say you were looking at doing sci-fi models, you get in at the level you're comfortable and you kind of find your zone. Now, clearly you've taken yours above and beyond. I watch your channel. Not only do you build the models as they come out of the box, you add lighting. I assume in some cases you're creating that lighting. It's not something you buy and just plug in. You've got to do the work, and you're into aftermarket. So there's actually companies that make photo etch and resin and things that you can augment your details, and you can put inside, have hangers, and you can just notch it up. So you're playing at a high level at this.
Yeah, that's and that's the thing. It's you know, it's easy to say, like, yeah, I did all this, but I mean, as I said, there was a lot of crappy models in the past to get here, and you know, start with what you know and grow your skill set. But two examples of aftermarket parts that are relatively easy to see. The when Mobius made the Pegasus, they didn't do pass-through hanger decks. They just put a little wall with a decal on. So this has the from Paragraphics, the launch bay photo etch, and there's detail that was missing on the front and back of the arms for the pods. So that's an aftermarket accessory that was put on. And the Bird of Prey is one. This is from the old Dawn's Light and Magic, which is now Lake Monster Details. I got the wing hinge kit. So you can, turn that on. You can do posable wings. Now, in general, I find that I tend to leave it posed in one position, and that's it. But it's nice to have. So that was a nice addition to the model. Now, at the time, I'm going to turn this around. The engine that they sent with it is wrong. Like, the kit supplied engine is wrong. So I scratch built this two-piece engine. It is available in the aftermarket now from, I believe, Green Strawberry. I'm not sure if it's anyone else. But like little enhancements that are, this advanced, but once you have your basics down, adding photo etch is kind of a fairly easy next step, because it's, for the most part, a relatively easy modification to make. Lighting can be more complex just because of the steps required. There's a lot of, they call it light blocking, so I've got to make sure that the plastic is coated either inside or out, depending on how you do it. So light doesn't shine through the plastic, but you also have to isolate certain areas. Like I had to build a little bulkheads inside here to isolate the light for the engine caps from the rest of everything. Pardon me, because this is just an open piece. So that's just an example of some of the, like if you look inside with the light, so because there's a lot of ambient light, you can't see it, but you can actually see, because I haven't light blocked it yet, and this is for your edit, I'll get you a picture of that. The fiber optic that goes to that light, you can actually see it, when the lights are off, you can actually see it in there. I still need to light block that. Anyway, point is that, as you don't need to jump into everything all at once. Start studying, gain your skills, and it's cumulative, it'll pay off.
That's it. The more you do, the better you get. And don't start, thinking you're going to build this thing right away, but work yourself up to it. And that's where you want to go with it, right?
Well, exactly. Oh, and sorry, I didn't answer one question. Talk about lighting. So with this one, the flasher circuit is a board I bought from HDA ModelWorks, but all the other lighting is basically just strip LED. And same thing with this. The floor on the inside is strip LED. The engines are just two SMDs, kind of parked behind there, and those are clear parts. So you got to light block them and all that stuff. And for the base, I just used LED tape in there. This will get two switches when they finally arrive, so I can control the base separate from the rest of the model.
Okay. So I found you on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So you have the YouTube channel. Now, what is your goal for your YouTube channel? Are we going to be able to go to your YouTube channel and learn ourselves how you do these things? Are you going to be an educator as well as a...
So that one, when I first started, there was really no goal besides just making videos. Now, because I do commissions from time to time, I do show the build-up process as an example of work. But I am looking at switching to more of an educational based model where we kind of take the steps and just expand on them to more tutorial based versus, like I always show like the harder steps, but I'll tend to skip over, easier steps. So when you watch some videos, you'll see a big chain. Like I'll detail how I did, assembled and put together the wing hinges. But then I'll skip ahead, and then like the wings will be on and painted and detailed and whatnot. So right now it's not exactly step by step by step. It's more of broad strokes and focus on specific details.
So you do have a plan going forward to migrate into more of a how to do it channel, which really works for me as a hobby store. People that are more educated and better modelers, of course, are better customers. So this thing just kind of snowballs.
Well, yeah, that's just it. It's and just a little aside is you'd ask me about commissions, and I do them, but I'm finding that with just the way things are right now, that there may not be as much money going around, and I don't think that you shouldn't have a luxury product just because finances don't necessarily allow it. So if we look at switching over to more of an education tutorial base, then you might only have enough money to go to your store and buy the kit and some accessories. But if you have time, we can walk you through the steps. And I think the biggest thing is, whether you're an existing modeler or starting out, don't worry about mistakes. Don't think about mistakes. Just if one happens, deal with it then. Because if you're thinking about it, you're probably going to make a mistake. So just do what you do, follow the steps, trust the process, and if something doesn't work out, it's generally, sometimes there's things that aren't repairable, but in general, I'd say 90% of the time, you make a mistake. I've had to strip models down, put them in the purple power ZEP and bring them right back to plastic and start again. But in general, you can keep on trucking.
Now, as a little aside, we talked about, sci-fi modeling is kind of a niche inside of a niche, as it were. You don't have as many people building this as you do German World War II tanks, for example. You mentioned Green Strawberry, and you mentioned, was it Pear Graphics?
Yeah, they're both aftermarket providers.
I have access to that stuff. One of
you do?
my wholesalers in New Jersey stocks those lines. They could be ordered through us if you don't want to just order one little piece of whatever direct. Now, some of the other stuff I think is so small niche that you do go direct to the guy that makes it or whatever, because he's not going to sell it to a guy who sells it to a guy who sells it to me. You don't want that,
Right.
so you go direct. But some of these bigger ones, like the two I mentioned, we have access to. So if you're ever looking to try them out, give us a shout first, and we'll see what we can do for you. At least we'll save you the shipping.
Well, absolutely. Well, except brings the thing, you could literally put together packages. Like, hey, here's the model, or here's the Enterprise and everything you need to get going. And yeah, they're both great suppliers. I've actually I am working on a collaboration with Green Strawberry shortly. The Enterprise D that they just reissued.
The clear one or whatever.
Yeah. The one that no one got. They sent me. I got the kit, and they've sent me all their aftermarket accessories. So I'm going to be doing step-by-step build-ups on those now, and that'll be shared content. So I'll have it. They can take the same content. Now, because they're like Green Strawberry, for example, they're from the Czech Republic. They can redub it. They'll have the video footage. They can redub it, and then that's out there because they've got good. Their instructions are pretty good, but the audio visual component of a video instruction may work better for a portion of the building population than just paper instructions. Because if there's any way you need clarification, you can go back and review and okay, that's how this goes together. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, Green Strawberry Pear Graphics, they're great products. So if you can get them, then
I think so.
get them through this guy.
Very good. So you yourself, you walk into the hobby store, and there's a brand new kit of some Star Trek thing or something. So immediately you're drawn to it. Now, do you buy the shiny kit? Do you have a list of kits you want to do? Like, what is your process for selecting a subject to build?
Okay, well, I'll start with the shopping side, because my process, as I've learned the hard way over time, is if you see it, buy it. Because they only do production runs, it's not continuous production. So, the last time this was released was 2010. There hasn't been an Enterprise B out for 12, 14 years. Popular subjects, this gets re-popped every few years, but Mobius lost the license, or they didn't renew the license for Battlestar Galactica, so there's no more Galactica kits out there. So, when I go to a hobby shop, it's generally, I know what I have in my stash, and I'm like, just keep an eye out for things. I'm like, going to grab it, so that when I get to it, I have it. Now, in all likelihood, the stash is so big that by the time I get to it, it will have been reissued anyway. But yeah, so from a hobby shop perspective, I'm kind of on the lookout for things I like to grab so that they'll be available when I want them. Now, not everyone has that option. So the second part is I'm either looking for something that interests me. In the case of, like I said, how I got on your radar was the Tidarium. I was already in the mode to start collecting more Star Wars kits. And I saw that. I'm like, there's an out-of-production kit. It's an interesting subject. I'm going to get that and kind of look at that. And sometimes it's just impulse.
Now, did you ever reverse engineer? Did somebody ever come out with a really cool lighting kit or some accessory or something, and you said, wow, that intrigues me? You buy that, and now I'm going to go get the kit. Or is it always kit first and then?
For me, it tends to be kit first, but that could change because some of the aftermarket it's a combination of aftermarket companies producing more varied products now at a faster pace, but also with 3D printing and files being available online. So I may see something online that I can, we'll say, get print. I tried 3D printing. I suck at it. I suck at it. So I gave my stuff to my friend. So here's my stuff. You just print me the stuff I need. But you might see something that that would look really good. So you can buy that and then base your kit purchase around that.
Now you've stayed pretty focused with this genres that we're looking at here. Mm-hmm. Have you ever went down the rabbit hole? Have you tried any Lost in Space, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, that old 60s sci-fi stuff that I grew up with?
I haven't, but excuse me, because there's only so many dollars to go around. I would say Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea would kind of be up on my list. The new Space 1999 stuff that they put a lot of effort into, and there's a lot of kits available too. Like they got a bunch of. I only watched a few episodes of the show, but my understanding is there was a number of variations of the Eagle. Yes. So there's a number to choose from there, and they're kind of an interesting piece. So yeah, there is interest in other subjects. I just haven't got to it yet.
All those things scream for extra detail lighting kits and whatever else you can do to them to up the game, as it were. So we got the kit for that new aftermarket. Oh, that basically we're at the show and tell part of our show.
There we go.
So you brought these beautiful models. If you'd like to, you walk us through them.
Yeah. You said I'm gonna cut my head off from here, right? Excuse me. Sorry. Let me clear my throat. Well, I might as well start with the TIE Fighter then, because this. I'm going to do the TIE Fighter last because you carry the TIE Fighter, and you did an unboxing that you should probably link back to. Yeah. So you can kind of a bit of a cross promotion, as it were. So this is the one that's actually in your window. Yes. The second Pilot Enterprise. Everyone builds the production version that you see with the glowing engines, and I do like to do what other people aren't doing. So there were 3 versions of this before the series. Well, by the time the series went to production, the first one had no lighting, as seen in the cage. The second one, which is this one, is seen in Where No Man Has Gone Before. They made some changes, added some lighting, extra detail in a few spots. Because a lot of this was these were bare, and the inner, whatever that is, was this little turbocharger. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So you got this raised detail here that was added. The back of the nacelles were. I haven't painted these yet, but for second Pilot, it had had all these holes in the back, so it looked like a exhaust. The 11-foot model was smooth. The 3-foot model had a little rectangle piece on it. But basically, what they did for the show is if you've ever seen the model at the Smithsonian, they open up the hull from the port side, and they cut out the windows, but all the lighting is not internal. It's internal lighting, but all the wiring's on the outside of the ship, because they'd already built it, and they're TV production, fast turnaround. Anyway, all that to say, so this is based on the second Pilot with they added the flashing lights. This flash rate is incorrect because I need a new board. So right now it's just a representation. It's actually a much slower flash. But what I did, instead of using the kit supplied windows, I actually filled them with UV resin. Because when you use the kit supplied windows, you get just a little separation where they fit through the hull. So they're a bit rounded, so they're not a perfect fit. So I did all the UV resin of the windows so you can get that nice smooth transition. That's that flush finish. And I actually had HDA Model Works do he made me a set of window decals for the black ones to replicate. Because the kit didn't come with them, so I had to get them made. But yeah, so this one I'm very happy with. It's a nice little, nice big kit. This is actually, maybe not with all the detailing, but a beginner could do this kit because of how well it goes together. It is it's not a snap fit, but it might as well be, because where the engines go in to the hull and the there's long slots. And same thing with the neck. Long slots going in the secondary hull, long slots going into the primary hull. So it's very easy to work with. So this is a big scale model a beginner could do because of how well engineered it was.
It's got a lot of visual impact.
Yes. Oh, just shy of 3 feet, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said this, and you have this one in stock, right?
I know it, I can get it.
Yeah, there you go.
I think it's still currently available.
Yep. So yeah, this one's like I said, it's good for the beginner, and for a more advanced modeler, you can do all sorts of enhanced detail and whatnot.
Starboard navigation.
Yeah, you can just barely see them blinking away there.
Joe, if it was dark, I'm sure they'd show up a little
Yeah,
better, right?
yeah. And yeah, so that one's, and this one's relatively, the second, like I said, if you want a simple build that's big scale, do this in first pilot setup because there's no lighting. So it's literally as appeared on screen. So yeah, this is a very forgiving model for anyone. This not so much. This is actually a commission build for a gentleman in Sudbury. I'm almost done. There's a few things to finish up. I'm actually waiting for a custom decal because there's a raised area that goes around the bridge, but it's out of scale for this size of ship. So I took it off. I'm going to replace it with a decal, but I'm have to get a custom decal made and shipped. But as I said, this Enterprise B hasn't been reissued since 2010, and I don't know if you can see it. I had to drill all the windows. And that
old fiber optic kits, so you had to drill
all
the holes.
Yep. Now I didn't fill the windows, and this one I didn't fill the windows with resin. I actually did parchment paper on the inside to catch the light, and the decal film covers the windows on the outside, so you get really good light transference. But I went dim on the lighting, so when you've got a lot of ambient light, they're not super apparent. Oh, there you go. Hey, maybe we'll get this to show off for you.
A little better?
Yeah, there you go. Get some shade on her there, and yeah, here you go. I can move that out of your way. So this one had to drill the windows, find a way to do it. This actually uses the green strawberry photo etch. I'm just going to turn this around, and you might be able to catch it. But the shuttle bay on the underside, which might be hard or impossible to see, I can get you photos. Yeah, there you go. So it's the kit supplied part provides the base, but all the detail, all the ribs, all the fine detail is provided by the aftermarket photo etch. And sorry. And what more to say about this one? Because the era, it was. You remember the Excelsior first. When they first released the Excelsior, it was like 96, and this is a modification of that, which came with Generations. Oh, the Excelsior would have had to come out sooner than that. Generations came out in 94. Anyway, this is a 90s era model kit, so, the engineering is what it is. So there's fit issues and whatnot, but you make it work, and, sometimes you get creative. In this case, like the lighting parts, like the engine grills and the little domes up top. That's aftermarket. I got that from Lake Monster Details, including the detailing decal set, which is these areas. So like all this here, all that blue-green is decal on the upper saucer, and on this pylon here. So I had to then match paint. So this is paint to match that. So that's a little. I don't know color theory very well, so I had to do a lot of drips and drops to get it right. So if someone said to me, "What's your ratios?" I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I have to say that's a well-laid decal because it's quite a convex curve around that shape.
This one is awful.
It would be.
Luckily, that decal film is very, very forgiving. Unfortunately, the ones I don't... Now, when Round 2 did the decal set for the Excelsior that has that, it's Cartograph, which is very good. It's an Italian company, but I still don't think it's that forgiving. I end up painting my Excelsior versus using the decal because it's such a hard area to do. Yeah, not much more to say. This one's almost done. Then it's going to go to that client. And
now, did you do all the mask work, or did you buy a commercial mask set to do that?
So this one, oh, that's a good question. Pardon me. So this set of this Aztec set decals you can get from Starship Modeler. It's a free download. Okay. I had to get Jerry to print them out for me because I don't have that capability. But yeah, but there is, if someone wants to paint it, Aztec Dummy makes a masking set for it. But I'm a lazy modeler, so I'll choose wallpaper decals as much as possible.
If you lay them as well as you do.
Well, that's just it. It's it's not easy. It's
talk about decals.
Okay.
And how to do them, and we sure didn't deep dive to this level with it. You know?
Yeah, these, and I want to tell you this. I love the wallpaper decals. They're great. You do have to have that base of knowledge to work with them, but once you get your understanding of decals and how to get them laid down well, this is a very good way to detail. Cause and once again, you new paint mask. It's a much more time-consuming process.
And more chances of stirring up.
Well, there's that too, and then as you said, you can fix a mistake, but you got to strip it, go back, and. But yeah, so the Enterprise B, very happy with this one. Looking forward to getting that out to Mike in Sudbury. And I want to bring this because I actually did the Galactica 2, but because of the small scale and the amount of fiber optic lighting I did in this one pops a bit more. Although I had an LED go out, so this whole quadrant is out. But so whoop. So this is basically all fiber optic lighting that I did. Kind of looked at as many photos and screen references as I could determine where lighting should be. These ones are probably the hardest, running little fibers beside because the shuttle bay insert is super close to the wall, so I had to kind of squeeze everything in there. And yeah, so this is one that really, especially in the dark, really pops. Oh, yeah. The build is sorry.
No, I was going to ask: is this intricate stuff? I don't know if you can catch it. It's on the insides of both sides, and it's all like a lattice of windows.
So that's a part of the photo etch set from Paragraphics that I said did the base and the detail, and yeah, it does that little trench too.
It really enhances it.
Now I do have a full build up with it. This I do have a full build up on my channel.
All right.
There's a multi-part series, so if you choose to link to that, you can.
It's very, very stunning.
And I'm gonna just tilt it back here because there's a bunch of detail, like a bunch of lighting on the bottom in this area here too. Don't know if how much of that you can catch.
There's a lot of it. It looks good.
So yeah, this one's definitely. I enjoyed building this because the Battlestar one's like overall the detail's low. Cause like my understanding is they had to get this digital model built fast for the show. So as far as things go, you got all the surface detail, but it was basically just like gunmetal gray with the red highlights and the lights. So the basic build is super, super easy, and it's a nice size. Nice size too. And here I'll turn around and you can catch the engines back there, which unfortunately over the years have developed some light kind of sealed around the plastic the lenses don't fit perfectly, so I sealed around with just the material shrunk over the years, so there's a few light leaks back there now. It happens. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, there you go.
Now this thing.
Yeah, so the Klingon bird of prey, which is always a popular subject. And yeah, so this, we got the wing hinge kit, so you can do.
The spacing of those, it's like an escalator.
Yeah.
You see how this one's going into that one?
Yeah.
Like that is pretty neat.
Yeah, so in here I basically had to cut out a piece of the model, build a bulkhead to keep the light from the back leaking up and through the grills. So there's internal structure I had to build into this. But this is a really, really wonderful little set because it's all laser cut acrylic, so it comes with a center plate that you just glue them into, and there's a little cap piece, and then there's plates to glue it onto the wings. Now,
that's the standard kit, I think. Right? It's standard for one of better, and there's a bigger one, right? The 350th scale.
Okay, so there is only one set. This is 350. The scale in the original issue was listed as something else, but yeah, so there's only the one.
This is the kit that comes out of that really big box.
Yeah. It used to be a big box, now it's a smaller box. Yeah.
Now
Yes.
They do have a commercially available set of lighting they made for that kit. So if you're a little nervous about trying to do your own,
Yes.
you have a plug and play option.
Yeah. The one of the things that, and I appreciate that Round 2 did this is, the later their release, maybe 2012, whatnot, they released 3 different. They don't have a hinge kit, but they released 3 different pieces of this, so you can do the wings and you can have them fixed up. Landing, cruising. Landing, cruising, or attack.
No doubt that was to sell 3 different kits.
Yeah, exactly. And same thing. This is one that even if you don't light it, this is one kit that goes together very, very well. It's a very forgiving kit for especially new modelers. So same thing, if someone came in and wanted something easy, like, check out this bird of prey. I think the price point's like $50. Like, it's a reasonable price point for entry level, and it builds up nice out of the box. And you can build it now with the stand or the landing legs, which they sent with it as well. And yeah, it's a fun kit. I got a couple in the stash. I want to give it another go. Because this one, if you notice, some of the headlights, I guess, have a different color tone than this. Because I actually had to rebuild this one because I had lighting failure. So I took it apart, but I didn't have the same lighting tone. So that's why not everything is cool white. But yeah, this one is very fun, very easy build. And it's actually, for people who are learning weathering, it's probably a good one to start with. Because you give it a wash, you'll get that detail out, and you can just try weathering powders or pastels. Exactly, which I think are available right over there, right? Now this one, so this is kind of a double thing. So I actually did this. I don't know when they're going to release it, but this was specifically for Round 2. For you, they did a user-generated content campaign. I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know when they're going to post the stuff. But I did 2 videos for them, so they sent me the model, and I lit it. You can kind of see right in there. And I opted to do the floor with a red glow. It's not. If you watch, A New Hope, the inside of the cockpit, when they do the inside of the cockpit shots, it's just like regular lighting. But I opted for just to get that. Yeah, just get that some more detail in there. And as far as I didn't do any weathering, I did pre-shading though. It's very, very light, but I did painted black along all the joints and seams and whatnot. So it's just barely visible through the base coat, which is what I want. Like very, very, very light. Same thing though. This is a well-engineered kit. like it's a big kit, but same thing. I would actually recommend this to new builders because the TIE Fighter generally was low detail. Like if you paint it just gray and black, it's accurate because the studio models didn't have a lot of weathering or whatnot on them. And like these wings go to the way these wings are made, it's basically like a big puzzle piece, and then it has plugs and receivers, so the arms hold the whole thing together. And I said it just goes together very, very, very well, and you can see a little bit of lighting from the guns there. That's actually light spill from the light for the floor. So lighting simple because it's just one strip of LED tape, and then the engines at the back are each engine has a little SMD LED in it, like super simple, basic lighting.
So you paint the inside of your model all like black.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that it absorbs the light and it doesn't let it come through the.
Exactly.
You know, light bursting through the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise you get that the plastical glow from the light. I will be doing a build series on this. I haven't got to it yet, but I've got all the data. But the short form videos are up on the channel. So you kind of the very 4-minute overview of the build is available. And this base, I'm just going to give a shout out to my friend Jerry. This is actually a prototype base I'm testing for him. And the base is what it is. It has inside the clear panel for diffusing lighting, and the top fascia he can print as to anything the customer wants. In this case, we opted for because I wanted to tie the base into the inside, so I did that grill look. Now, right now, the whole thing is on off, but it was, as I said before, we'll have switches so I can control the base and the TIE Fighter independent from each other. But yeah, no, this is a great build. It's 3 colors, goes together extremely well. It's a great shelf display. Like it's big, but it's relative to the Enterprise, this is much more confined space-wise. Thing, and that's basically what I brought today. Now, of course, all my stuff is, you can see it on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and whatnot. The recent stuff is more so on Instagram and TikTok, because I hadn't been focusing on YouTube for the last year. But yeah, that's...
Well, I'm fascinated that you're getting preview stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting people sending you things to implement and give feedback on. Of course, you're going to show people how to use them. So
absolutely.
We were talking about this, before we got on air. We were talking about community and networking and how all this stuff is just making the hobby grow and get better. That's why I wanted to have Jason here today, and he was happy to come here. We're networking. We're bringing the word out to hobbyists. Your feedback will bring more word to everybody. Yep. I mean, it just tentacles out, and it makes this hobby so vibrant.
You did a build day here recently,
yes.
Right? And okay, so that's aside again as to community and whatnot. This is generally a solitary hobby.
Mm-hmm.
You have your desk and your stuff and you build together, but in order, as I said, that's why your aspect of building community, having a place where people can go when it's hot, for example, or the build days where modelers can get together and actually connect in person. And I'm not saying that as I do believe that online connection is just as valuable. You have your friends online that you talk to. Because for me, like I said, I kind of use HGA and Jerry interchangeably because Jerry's also my friend. So he's in Texas. I've never met him in person. Matt from Matt's Model Shop, he's in Florida. I've never met them in person, but we've been online friends for 10 years. And we consult back and forth and discuss, what's working, what's not, suggestions, and just show each other what we're doing. But I like that you're doing that in-person thing. I've never made it because, I'm too lazy to drive back to the city.
Well, I find one of the most satisfying aspects of being in the hobby business is putting people together. All the time I'm making introductions. Oh, did you know this guy's into this like you are, or even more so than you are? And they're like, wow. And all of a sudden you got a face-to-face, or like you. I've seen this guy online for I don't know how many years, and now I finally meet him, in person in your shop, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I always like making stuff like that happen too. Again, just builds the community up. But
Yeah, no, I think that you're. I think you've kind of you've nailed that, and I like this. This space is much more cozy. Much more cozy, but yeah, get people together and whatnot, and look at it. Like I said, kind of you're doing things that other shops aren't. So that kind of separates you from the pack as well.
That's great. Thanks, and I appreciate hearing that. Feedback is always good.
Yeah.
If you want to give us feedback, leave your comments below, and myself or Jason will get back to you if you have any questions or suggestions. I'd like to thank you for giving up a morning and coming in from Smith Falls for this. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so thanks for having the chat. It's nice to show off the stuff. And
when you come to the store, and we had a video about our new window artwork, and it was all made, a lot of it was made from submissions from modelers. This model is featured in the window that faces towards the Argos carpet, so make sure you check it out when you're here. And we're grateful to you for submitting that for our use.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't I missed the first post, so I never sent anything in, and then kind of tail end Charlie'd my way in.
Well, we were looking for something of that topic, and you came through for us, so that was awesome. I would like to use the TIE Fighter, but he was a little dark. This
yeah, well, that's just it, right? It doesn't pop as well. But yeah, no. I said, as for myself, any questions about these or just sci-fi or lighting or the various subjects we talk about, Jason's model shop on all the platforms. Just reach out through whatever your preferred is.
We'll provide the links below, and if you're like Jason or myself and you want to share your hobby or your aspect of the hobby and you'd like to come in and do what Jason did for us, please submit your ideas, and we'd like to consider having you on, because again, we're building community, we're getting stronger. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Don't forget to share.
Cheers.
Take care.
Okay, don't forget, please subscribe, slap that bell, hit that like button, and join Team Hobby Center.